Hello and welcome to episode 26. This one is a day late and I was actually ill yesterday, so I couldn't get it out on time or record it. And then I started to look at the synchronicity of that and how this all started 6 months ago, which I'll go into in a minute. The purpose of this podcast, I'm going to keep it short because I have been poorly, is to share with you the reasons why it's so important to create a safe space, and I give you some ideas on how to do that. Welcome to the MINDFUCKERY Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth, author of Finding Lily and the A to Z of Emotional Abuse. I'm here to remind you that love should be unconditional. Divorcing emotionally is life-changing, and that you have a duty of care to yourself. Each week I will discuss some of the terms you may hear along this journey, and I will help you understand and process what's happening. I will help you find the best habits as you start to take back the control of your own life and learn the tools to heal on a deeper level, becoming the best version of yourself. So 6 months ago, I decided, it was actually longer than 6 months because I toyed with the idea for such a long time. And I had lots of issues around visibility and what I wanted to get out of, or what I wanted this podcast to be. I have a lot of people that say to me what they love about my work is that I give you the tools. You know, a lot of people don't. They'll just tell you what's going on. But I want to help people break away from the toxicity and heal on a level that is so deep that they are recovering properly, because you can walk away from these relationships and go, yeah, I'm over it, but you're not over it because this runs so deep. It runs throughout, say it in various different things. It runs deep into your soul. So I decided that as I was getting nearer and nearer to this, I can't turn back from this project. I decided I'd launch it on my birthday. So that was the 5th of April, and I recorded it, and I found the platform first of all, and I was trying to use another one, but for some reason, and this is what I'm talking about, how these things happen for a reason, for some reason it wouldn't connect, and I lost I don't know what happened to it, so I had to find another platform, and I recorded. And I had my podcast ready to go and edited and etc. And it was my birthday, so I was actually going out. I spent the day with family, and then in the evening, it was one of those things that we just decided right at the very end, oh, this sounds really fun. And we drove down to the coast and we went, it was a Tuesday, so we did a Tacos Tuesday and had great fun. But by the time I'd got home, it was so late and I was so tired because it was a full-on day. I didn't have time to post it. So I had to make the decision, I wanted to do it on a Tuesday, but this first edition was going to be on a Wednesday. So how fortuitous is it that it's a Wednesday today? It's these synchronicities, these things that step in, that I find fascinating. Because yes, I work for a charity, and yesterday I was meeting with a client and I phoned her on the way over, and she had forgotten about an appointment that she had, so she couldn't make the meeting. So I turned around and went home, and then and I wasn't feeling great when I got up actually, but and then I was ill a few hours later. Again, how fortuitous, because if I'd been out, I would have been ill out. There were a few things. So, and again, today is a Wednesday, and my very first podcast went out on a Wednesday. Look for those things where you're faced with something and you think this is the most horrendous thing that's happened, and then when you step back and you think, wow, actually, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be in this place. I would be somewhere different. And this happens to me a lot. So yesterday was just one tiny example. The emotions that you experience at the time might be disappointing or hurtful, or you might be in so much pain. But when you step back out and look back on the situation. These things, it's as if they have something steps in to change the course, to change your course of where you're supposed to be and where you're supposed to be going. It happened to me years ago. I had to go back to court to sort out the maintenance agreement, and it didn't go in my favour, and I was really disappointed. And it was one of the first times actually that I said I'm going to allow myself, because normally I'm a person that goes, okay, it's fine, and overrides the emotion. But this is when I was starting to step into, I'm going to own and experience these emotions, because it's a much more powerful way to do this. So that's what I did. I stepped in and I allowed myself that time to be disappointed. I think that was in the August. And then in the September, October, so we're literally only 6 to 8 weeks, if something had happened, I wouldn't be in a position in the October to do what I wanted to do. And it would have all been around the selling of a property. So look for those moments, look for those things that step in and you think that it's the most awful thing, and then look back and actually ask whether it was or not. So whether you're still in the relationship or you're out of the relationship, creating a safe space is crucial for your healing. What's happened is you ended up in a war zone. You had no idea. You had no idea that that's what you were stepping into. It could have been a 6-month relationship. It could have been a 6-year relationship. It could have been a 36-year relationship. The damage that is done to your body, where you are walking on eggshells, you're anticipating all the time what the next moves are going to be. Your system is on hyper alert. So I said you can be still in the relationship, working your exit route and making the plans to get out and create a life that is more conducive with what you want. Or you could be out of the relationship and ruminating, but it's absolutely crucial that you create a safe space. Now, that doesn't have to be a whole room. It doesn't have to be, it can be a corner, particularly if you're still in the relationship. I think one of the best places to do this is in the bathroom, because it makes sense that you might have candles in there, or it makes sense that you lock the door. What you're trying to do is tell your body that it's now walked into this space and it can relax and it can turn off. And in this space, in this moment, as long as you are safe, that your body is safe. And it's those snippets of time that will help your body recover. I'm a Reiki master teacher, and I can't remember, it was probably about 10 years ago, I started working with animals, and I was working with some horses. One of the stables I went to, I went in and I worked on 2 horses. One was really flighty and the other was like really relaxed. And she said she's never seen it before, because they are predatory animals. They think, even a leaf they'll jump at. They think that it's they're being coming under attack. And she said, I've never seen it. She said, I turned up, so I saw them on the Sunday. And she said she came back, I can't remember if it was the next day or that evening. And she said, I've never seen them. Both of them were laying out, relaxed and chilled in the field. And this is what creating a space does. It's allowing your body the time to recover, to turn off the adrenaline that's pumping it around your body. The worst thing that you can do is exercise. You actually need to be showing your body that you've created a space for it and it's safe and it can relax. But it needs to be safe. You need to create that environment that's safe. Another great way of doing it is with children's teepees. I don't know whether you've got one or you can make one. And actually it's brilliant with children. If you've experienced this abuse and your children have experienced it as well, creating that closeness that you can, somewhere you can climb in a way, a womb type environment. It's very close and around you. However, you do need to make sure you're in a safe environment, because if you can't see somebody coming into the room, your body might see this as a potential threat, because that's what it's looking for all the time. It's looking for the potential threat. It's on hyper alert. It's scanning all the time to see where this threat could come from, whether it's verbal or physical. creating a physical environment where as you step into it, your body knows that it's safe is crucial for your healing. And you can do this. It doesn't have to be in your home. It could be in your garden. It could be in somebody else's garden. It could be in somebody else's home. It could be in another building. It could be in a church, or it could be in, I don't know, a library or somewhere like that. But what you're saying is, my body's safe. I'm safe here. And while I'm here, my body is recovering, because it is. You're creating this environment that's safe. And you, as I said, it can be at home with candles in the bathroom. It can be salt baths. They're amazing. They really are. Himalayan salts are so healing. You can get them, you can pick them up in the supermarket, and they're relatively cheap. Just walking to an area, it could be a corner of a room. It might be that you have a dressing table and you can set out some really nice ornaments or candles, and you sit there for a moment. And some people will sit there and be able to sit for a few minutes, and other people will just be seconds. But you're able to build this up. It's like muscle building. You're able to build this up. So it's, again, like meditation. You might not be able to hold a meditation for very long where the thoughts are coming into your head. But over a period of time, you might notice that it gets longer and longer that you are able to sit in that space. Use things like, your safe space might be a journaling space. It might be that you get a book and a pen, and you're allowing that time to process your emotions through the pen. Writing, physically writing out, not tapping out on a computer, but physically writing out. Doesn't matter whether you can spell, doesn't matter whether your grammar's great. It's putting these emotions, and there is a connection, I believe, between the brain, the heart, the hand, that actually releases these emotions. It helps you process what's happening. That's why it's so important to think about writing your story out in like a timeline if you can. It might not come as an initial timeline of how things happened. It might be you remember something and you jot that down on the timeline, and then you might remember something that triggers another memory from before. But writing it out, you can see this was abusive. And I talk a lot about our childhoods and how we learn a lot from our childhoods. Up until the age of 7 or 8 years old, we're sponges. We have no way of understanding or understanding what we're experiencing isn't what everybody else is experiencing. And later on, you grow up. If you've been in a relationship or a family unit or your tribe that were telling you that you weren't good enough, that treated you in a certain way, you take that on. And this is why people, I always remember somebody saying to me, I can't believe you can't see this as abusive. And then that was like a penny dropping for me, because I realised that what I was experiencing was something that I had experienced at a younger age. And the way I was being spoken to and treated was how I'd been treated at a younger age. So this is why it's so important, creating a safe environment just to help your body regain some energy, to take control of these emotions. Your brain was told, and it has been told, that abuse wasn't abuse. This is love in the eyes of somebody else. This is how I show I love you or I care for you. And it wasn't, it's abuse. So this is helping you process this, to say, actually, this wasn't normal. This wasn't, it wasn't to my benefit. But you're also allowing your body, by creating a safe space, to turn off some of the stress hormones. And that's why it's so important to come out of your head and to stay in your body, because your brain has been tricked to believe, as I said, the abuse wasn't abuse. It was, in fact, love. So they work hand in hand, being in your body, whether you do that through grounding and breathing, but creating this space. And as I said, it doesn't have to be a huge area. It can just be a corner. It can be the back door. You can go and stand outside the back door for a few minutes. You're telling your body, as long as it's safe, you're telling your body, I'm safe and I'm protected and I'm protecting myself. I hope this has been useful. It was, as I said, it was serendipitous that it landed on a Wednesday on the 6th month of the first one. it's crucial for your healing. Your healing needs to go deeper. Don't walk out of a relationship and say, well, I'm healed. Go in deep, and because you don't want to be carrying your baggage from this relationship to the next relationship, and questioning and wondering. Get in and heal those wounds. They do run deep. They are like verrucas, how I describe them, as verrucas, and if you don't get every part of that out, it sits there laying dormant until somebody comes and triggers it. Perhaps you walk into your next relationship and this person is completely different and you won't experience it. But don't give it any chances. Work on yourself. It's so empowering anyway, and it's life-changing. Sending you loads and loads of love.